Hey, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylint, and today I'm going to be talking about Hunter's Arena Legends, giving you my sort of pre-impressions based on all the promotional material that we've seen so far, it might be a little bit early, but then again, this game is to be announced, the release date of 2019, so, we're kind of getting there. It should jump on us, at least in early access. You can add it to the wish list. I'll put a link in the description below if you guys want to check it out, and probably some links to the trailers and the official website, just so you guys can peel your eyeballs on the raw information after I give it to you here, at least mostly my opinion. Now, I'm streaming right now on twitch.tv/Skylint. If you guys want to jump in, have some fun with me, maybe talk about upcoming free-to-play games, that'd be pretty cool. And if you want to see more news and a journalistic approach to, taking free-to-play games pretty seriously, I got a new channel called Free For All, where, I'm going to cover Hunter's Arena Legends extensively. So definitely go check that out, subscribe, but all the good YouTube stuffs. But here we go, Skylint Games here. I'm trying to be a little bit more biting, a little bit more teethy, and I'm going to try to sort of judge the book by its cover here with a sort of pre-impressions review, Hunter's Arena Legends. But I also want to do sort of some damage control. I always use these sort of videos as a point to clarify certain aspects that I think might be a little bit disingenuous when it comes to their promotions or their advertising material, and I just kind of want to get you guys in the mindset of what this game is really going to be like. Of course, a little bit with assumptions, but this first point is going to be kind of a big one. So follow along with me. Hunter's Arena Legends. If you've looked at the website, you've seen the trailers, you might get the idea that this is an MMORPG. No, it is not. Actually, if you look really closely at the promotional material, they even tell you that it's not. So, clearly they'll say stuff like this. It'll say, experience all the content you've enjoyed in MMORPGs. But then it'll say, within a 30-minute match. So clearly these are instanced lobby-based matches. Also, if you don't already know, Hunter's Arena is going to have a mix of different game modes. And we'll go over those different game modes, but immediately, MMOs generally are an open world, like completely open world. And even if they're not technically open world, they're still interconnected worlds with persistence and permeation that hold a massive number of players. This game, while it might have RPG mechanics, like Hunt Showdown does, actually with a sort of meta out-of-match progression, that game is still just a instanced, co-op, or it's like 2v2v2v2 battle royale. Same thing with Kurzspell as well, even though you can unlock, you get currencies and you can unlock classes around the matches. I mean, that's the same as like Call of Duty, really, or a number of other games. Those games, Kurzspell is more of an RPG, so obviously, and same thing with Hunt Showdown. So that's better, example. Kurzspell, though, is still not an MMO. It's a co-op, boss-in-a-box PvE game, and then it's a 2v2, or, there's got a little 16-player Battle Royale PvP game. Just because it got RPG mechanics and it uses abilities and fantasy swords and things doesn't make it an MMO. Hunter's Arena is going to be very, very similar to Kurzspell, except in my opinion just kind of blown up bigger and probably better, with a more serious and sincere take, with the sort of stylism that's like realism. So I think it's really going to go for a bigger push on a more AAA sort of production, especially with the multiple game modes. But yeah, MMORPG, it is not. Again, they'll say stuff like, try this MMORPG-like. Yeah, that it's not an MMORPG. It has an RPG combat system. It might have RPG mechanics with progression outside of the matches. But really, first and foremost, the game mode that they're really promoting here is, I believe, a 60-player, and that number might go up and down, but it's 60-player Battle Royale. And that being the game mode that they're promoting first is probably what's going to be available first. It's probably going to be the focus, but this game will eventually probably have a more even split between their PvE game modes as well, as they're trying to explain that there's apparently like 10,000 different kind of monsters you're going to be farming and upgrading. There's going to be literal raiding, which some games call certain things raids and other games call certain things raids, and they're like totally different things. Anyways, but it says dungeons and then it says PvP action. So there might be more than battle royales, or maybe the battle royale mode will actually have open world raids and like dungeons to run through. And I don't know, maybe it's going to be like a really, really fast paced, like it has all these mechanics in it. But then it's like, in 30 minutes, it's all over and you redo it. I don't know. It's a little bit vague there, but basically it's going to be a very interesting, fully featured battle royale. So either a lot of this stuff is going to be outside of the main game mode, or they're going to try to stuff it in the main game mode. Either way, it's probably going to be interesting, but it will not be an MMO. It just won't be. It's going to be a battle royale. It's only 60 players, and they're all fighting each other. So yeah, if a game came out and it was just focused on 60 players just fighting a world boss, and you had to run around like a little mini world and kind of quickly RPG and fight world bosses, and you had that persistence, I could almost count that. I could count that as an MMO actually. There's some Minecraft servers that are like that, and it feels like an MMO. But when 60 players are fighting each other, that's really more like 30 versus 30, or it's like, it's a battle royale. Over in 30 minutes, you don't really get a sense of massivity with that. And so, no, this isn't an MMO. But with that clarification out of the way, you guys probably want to know some more details. Of course, the gameplay is playing in the background, and I'm assuming that you have your eyeballs on it, so I don't need to describe it too much. But it is a Kung Fu-inspired fantasy, wuxia-style combat system. You might enjoy this game if you like the combat system inside games like Black Desert Online, or possibly like Vindictus or Dragon Nest if you've checked out those games in like the last 10 years. Kurtzbell as well, another title. And there's actually a number of games like this, like Blade and Soul. Blade and Soul is a really big one. So that's a big prominent game that maybe you should check out if you like 1v1s. But in terms of battlegrounds, like having like multiple people, like a dozen players, or like teams of players fighting each other, this sort of genre is really, really rare. So it's pretty cool that we're starting to see more of a trend of fantasy battle royales or fantasy sort of battlegrounds style games, such as Spellbreak, which is, big thumbs up there for Spellbreak. As a magic casting one, we did see a battle royale mode just added to Kurtzbell and Black Desert Online, though they just kind of took that one out. It's really interesting. I want to see more games like this because for the most part, we just have Battlefield likes. So Battlefield games are obviously like it's big team battle, but modern military or guns or it's sci-fi. And first-person shooters play a totally different way than pseudo fighting game, sort of RPG style mechanics. And all those games that I've played, which, God, dude, I can't even remember the names. There's just been so many that have completely failed, dead on arrival as soon as they launch. But this game, I think, is actually going to be really, really well done, especially because it just seems like they're really pushing this whole battle royale thing. So with this sort of concept, with the trend being battle royales, I think it probably could get the player base that it needs to further develop the game as games as a service, unlike a lot of other games that, I tried playing. And if you guys actually know any that's really fun, please let me know in the comments below, especially if they're free to play. But there's kind of like none, so I doubt anybody will. But anyways, so this game is going to use characters that might turn off some people, especially because it is kind of promoting to the MMO crowd. Characters, it looks like they're really promoting with the number 10. It says 10 different characters with unique skills. It says a combat system that rewards, kiting and utilizing different play styles, which is pretty cool. I like that. So it looks like we're gonna have a variety of characters. Some might be zoners, some might be assassins, more like a berserker or warrior styled. Some might be kind of mesmerish or weird and have like strange teleporting abilities and really more trickstery. I like that, but there's a lot more gameplay archetypes than just 10. If you ever went to a hero shooter or like a MOBA and you only had 10 characters to pick from, that is a bad experience. It might be kind of alleviated because it's a battle royale. So 60 players, 10 different characters, that kind of makes sense. If you've ever played Realm Royale, that actually is a good number. But since this game isn't a shooter and the time to kill is a bit higher, I'm gonna really have to say, 10. I kind of think they shouldn't promote the number 10. I think that's not a good number. 10 is not very high. If it was 10 classes, which and then in 10 classes, if you had 3 or at least 2 different talent trees, then you have 20 to 30 different, characters or kits that you'd be able to play with, and then you have further customization, so it might feel a little bit deeper. But yeah, you're gonna have these characters. I don't think you're running around picking up different weapons or things. So 10 is kind of detrimental in my opinion. Going forward, 10 better be the start, and I'm assuming it is. I'm assuming 10 is just the launch, early access. We're probably going to start with 10 or around that number, and then they're always going to consistently add up. That just kind of makes sense. Consistently get people into the game, playing it, jamming to it. I think that'd be really, really fun. But just know that if it's just 10 and they don't keep adding in new characters, I think this game would die pretty freaking quickly. As flamboyant as the gameplay looks and appears, I totally know how these kind of games go. Like Black Desert, stuff like that. Whenever you add a new class, it's crazy hype. and then otherwise the game can actually get a little bit stale, even with that game's itemization and character kit customization. So yeah, Hunters Arena Legends seems pretty interesting. But looking deeper into the website, I actually have a further explanation. I mean, it's still really vague, but on the general gameplay, different modes that are going to be included in the game. So clearly they define, or at the moment, their survival. That's going to be the Battle Royale. And down here, it says 50 players. So that's kind of confusing. It's 50 players who fight to be the last one standing. Maybe that's 50 players solo, but when it comes to trio, I guess that's going to be 60. So 20 different teams. So you have solo and then you have trios. So there's 2 different modes for the Battle Royale, which probably will be 50 or 60 players. You're going to be hunting monsters, so it is a PvEvP game. There's going to be consumption of items, so mostly consuming items, which is probably going to be armor ups, healing potions, maybe things that like the relics, possibly, when it comes to like spell break, where it gives you like a new ability where you teleport or blink or something like that. And then using your environment to your own benefit is something that we kind of see in the trailer. You see that there is some verticality. There might be hiding in shadows, in bushes. Yeah, things like that, which you kind of expect in Battle Royales. Environmental play is like huge. Then there's actually this game mode that really has me very, very excited because I'm somebody who enjoys games like Marvel vs. Capcom, and I also kind of enjoy the tag system in Blade and Soul, which I'll actually go ahead and link a video in the description or comment somewhere where you can actually see Blade and Soul PvP if you haven't seen it. But tag is, it's 2 characters per player. So it's a 1v1, but you actually switch or you swap or you tag out the character that you're fighting with so that you can extend combos. So if you've ever played a tag fighting game, you know like it's still a 1v1 game, but you're switching out characters. This is going to be games, I guess, kind of like you can say, well, some games actually just have assists, like the Naruto games. There's also Skullgirls, which you can use characters as secondary abilities. But this one says like you're straight up switching between characters to perform further powerful combos. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like a new ability, like a combo one single ability, because some games are like that, or if you're literally switching just to extend the fight. So either way, that's still kind of an interesting 1v1 concept that will separate it greatly from a lot of other games. And the fact that they even have a 1v1, gameplay mode is kind of huge. Yeah, it's still, that's pretty big. Plus they added that twist. I like that. And then others, there's actually going to be a team fighting mode, which is 2 teams of players try to destroy bases. So kind of like a siege sort of system. And then there's horde mode, and that is freaking awesome. I love me some wave survival horde modes. My favorite wave survival, I think, is like Dungeon Defenders, though that's tower defense. Pretty cool stuff. But horde mode with this kind of game really is probably going to be reminiscent of stuff like warrior style game, Dynasty Warriors, some crazy Musou style games. And I think it's going to be cool. It says players will join their friends. So probably 4, maybe 5, 3, 2. It's probably going to be like a team of players. And there's just going to be waves and waves of monsters. The dream is that it's not just lots of monsters. I want it to be lots of monsters. And being a battle royale, they should be able to hold lots of monsters on the screen. But I want it to be lots of monsters, so I get that warriors feeling, that true wave survival and horde mode feeling. But I also hope they have like RPG mechanics, so that we kind of get stronger. And then the monsters have like boss monsters, boss waves, things like that really come up to like, giant monsters coming and attacking us. Maybe there's like lots of different maps we could play with. I would just really appreciate if they take the horde mode seriously and it's not just a mode to kind of grind currency in, which is a lot of games are like that. So yeah, just to reiterate, we have survival, trio, and then also solo queuing. We have a tag 1v1 system, and then we have team fighting or sieges, and then we have horde mode. It's not actually explaining how raids or dungeons are going to work, so these could be totally separate, or those could be included in the Battle Royale. I really don't like how vague it is, but then again, this is it's not an English game, and this game is kind of coming and being published in the West pretty quickly, so I think they're going to unravel the game a little bit as time goes on. And if you guys actually want me to cover the game with individual news updates, I'm going to do that over on Free For All. So as trailers get uploaded, I'll put them on there, and as new information comes available, I will talk about it on Free For All. That is my journalistic site for free-to-play games. But here I definitely wanted to talk about Hunters Arena Legends because I like covering battle royales on this channel. I like talking about online games as a service, and even though we don't have really too much going on with this game, I mean we see the trailers and I feel like they explain a lot of the game, but there seems to be a lot more to this title than what we've been told so far. But if you actually look at the website, you can see that there's news that's about to be sort of rolled out here. There's more stuff that's going to be talked about pretty soon. But, you know, just to end cap the video here, let's talk about this character design, these fights, kind of guesstimate what these kits are going to be like. I want to say that I think I'm kind of very intrigued overall by these characters. They seem so human, which could be detrimental. I mean, there are some that seem more demonic, but it's very human. Then again, we do have a freaking panda. But what I'm saying by human is I feel like there is so much like emotion kind of in these characters' faces. Like they feel kind of real, and obviously the game is leaning on a realistic art style, unlike Blade and Soul or Kurt's Spell. But yeah, I just feel like there is an aesthetic here. There's a design decision in this game that is very different. It's a very much a merge of Western art style as well as obviously like Eastern aesthetics. So I'm pretty intrigued by that in itself. And then looking at the fighting seems very inspired by wuxia games. But let me know actually what is your favorite combat style inside of online RPGs, whether that's an MMO like BDO or if it's an arena fighting game like Dragon Nest or Kurt's Spell. Let me know which fighting systems that you like the most. I'll tell you right now, I loved Dragon Nest. That was my biggest favorite. And what do you want from these character kits as well? I think a system that's similar to BDO or I guess Blade and Soul, where you have more of a fighting game mentality, which I think this game is going for because they even have a fighting tag game mode. I think that sort of like, you know, Kung Fu style gameplay would be really great, but also being a battle royale game and seemingly warriors inspired. Hopefully there are really big, sweeping, explosive attacks, which I'm kind of seeing. I'm seeing a lot of magic, and also intriguing enough, you actually see some pseudo-supportive skills in this game as well, like shields and things like that. Stealths and stuns, I think, can also be really good for scouting and being kind of a team player. And there are some team game modes. So that's something that you normally don't get in battle royales, is team play is generally not really promoted. It's more like get the sniper, get the guns, you know, defenses and I guess overall like supporty abilities, heals, things like that, or scouting skills or trickeries, teleports. That's all really rare, especially because fantasy battle royales tend to be rare. But I think this game has a chance to have a very unique playstyle, whether it's 1v1 all the way to the battle royale, and then of course even with the horde mode, where generally games like that it's super brain dead. Oh, as long as they actually engage all the different kind of kits, get people to want to play different characters and different combinations, which you might see actually in some Dota 2 horde mode gameplays, or also League of Legends. MOBA horde modes are super fun, but you know, really getting us to pick our brain in RPG and strategize, I think would be pretty big and important. Kind of underwhelming in a lot of other RPG / PvP style games, or even just RPG horde mode style games. Normally it's just it's all about the numbers, but this game being instance focused, it could be really cool. So a lot of vague words and things from me, but there's just a lot of very decidedly vague information from the websites. You know, the trailer doesn't even show everything. But let me know what you guys think overall. 15 minutes of fame is up for this game. If you guys want to see more, that's going to be over on Free for All. Free to play game coverage. It's going to be great. I'm also probably streaming right now on twitch.tv/Skylint. So I'll see you guys over there. Keep the hype alive, and I'll see you again next time.